Today from the MedTech Conference by AdvaMed, MedTech World is here with Matthew Khoory from Cortex Design. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start by giving a bit of context. What is Cortex Design?
So Cortex Design, we are in the business of enhancing the human experience and the user experience and every stakeholder involved within the medical device. So we do design, engineering, pilot manufacturing, and quality systems. We're under ISO 345 quality management system to support innovators, companies, to move from typically benchtop prototypes right through to market clearance. So supporting them up to and through the FDA submission process as well.
Yeah, before we talk deep about Cortex, I'm very curious about your background and why did you decide to jump into the medtech space? Why medical devices?
Yeah, for me it was always about making an impact and making a real change in the world. With a number of physicians in the family, I saw their lives and they were impacting, I suppose, as many lives as patients they could see, and my fascination was always where technology crosses with medicine, to be able to do that on a greater scale, and I guess I was always more tuned towards the physics and technical side of things, and yeah, that's what got me here, and I've stayed since.
Indeed, and one of the ways that you are helping and enhancing patients' life is through helping startups to achieve that, right? So how, from Cortex Design, are you helping startups to jump into commercialization in a smooth way?
Yeah, so primarily we, as a former founder, as a company that works with many startups, we understand where they're coming from. We understand their challenges, their fears, and what they're trying to achieve. And we come back to the business objectives. It's we understand, especially as a startup, you're really trying to get to your next milestone, your next value inflection point. It's what you use to raise money. It's what you use to keep going and growing until you meet your objectives. So we start there, right? What are you trying to achieve? We really spend time with them, trying to help them get to that point. Two things are critical: capital efficiency and speed. And there's a little bit of a balance between the two. And we work with them to say, okay, of course we're a design engineering company and we'd love to do everything, but how do we break this down? Does it make, how do you want to structure this in a way that balances your budget, your timelines? How do we get to where you need to be? And what of this might you want to look at doing in-house? What makes sense for us to take on? And really taking them through a step-by-step process that tries to de-risk the process of development as much as possible. So from us, especially with a design focus, we're trying to get to a final form factor or design very early, one which will sort of improve usability, user acceptance, a device people are going to want to involve, get used with, make medical devices more like great consumer electronic devices that we all fall in love with and try to get there. And then we really use that to lead the engineering teams to engineer what the form factor and the device and the design needs to be. So really putting the human at the beginning. And within that, trying to understand that as early as possible, discover as soon as possible. The earlier you make a mistake, the less costly it is, but another way, if you're finding out after a big long process, oh no, this doesn't work with people with big hands. Well, if you discover that quite late in your process, that can be a very costly mistake. Not just in terms of cost than what you might imagine, but in the time
Yeah.
in the time it takes to rectify that issue, and that time is critical because by then your company has a burn rate, and as I say, it gets exponentially more expensive the later you discover things.
From prototype to actually being scalable, right?
Yeah.
What makes a company navigate through this gap smoother?
As I say, I think a staged approach, a clear plan of where you're going, a good understanding of the certain steps that you want to take to get there, and understanding that and testing along the way, as I say, to discover things that you want to discover early. But as I say, a clear plan, good upfront investment in design, and I think really, another thing I would say is, as I said, understanding the process.
Yeah.
There is a certain time that it takes. There is a certain, factor, and sort of understand what it takes to do validation and verification. For example, it takes a certain amount of time. It takes a certain budget to do that, and understanding that up front, and not, as you say, to make it more smoother, and not kind of get through your process and then realize, oh, geez, I didn't realize it would take so long. As I say, it's having a good plan and understanding every step of the way, and quite often having good advisors and people around you that have done it before really helps and goes a long way.
Yeah. In terms of trends, medical devices, new technologies every day, right? What do you see as most successful, let's say, in the next 5 years? What type of technologies?
Wow. Most successful. It comes back to the cliche of whatever solving a big problem. I think, in terms of areas that excite us, it's devices that can, that can save time, that can, excite users. I know there's, I'll give you an example of a company that we're working with. For example, Cohesys, and they have an ultrasonically welded bone tape. So in the face of facial reconstruction and surgery, broken bones, instead of screws and plates, which can be a long surgical procedure, and lots of little devices, adjustments, and you look at how many plates and screws a surgeon might bring into the room. They have a great technology in a bone tape. Essentially, think of it as a Band-Aid, comes out of a sterile pack. Surgeon right there can cut it to size, apply it to the wound, and then weld it onto the bone in a much quicker procedure, and it sort of dissolves over the next 12 months. So I think things that really sort of push the boundaries, that make surgeries easier, improve outcomes, and they're ultimately better for patients.
Yeah. How do you see Cortex Design in the MedTech ecosystem, let's say, in the next 5 years, in the future of MedTech and healthcare?
Yeah, I think we'll continue to press on our principles of enhancing the human experience. That's what we're about, and that really comes back to patients and users, and every sort of stakeholder, and we'll continue to do that. I think a trend we see as well, and I know it's a big cliche, is around AI. And what we're seeing a lot of is AI companies which really see themselves as the software company. Their secret sauce, their IP is that algorithm. And they may start by running it off-the-shelf device, right? Like a camera. Oh, if you did this and used the camera to do this, great, use our algorithm. Where they get to is they then start to think, actually, if we had our own camera or our own hardware and our algorithms are more tuned into that, we can perform a lot better. So it's like, oh, suddenly we need hardware. Well, but their team, their IP, everything they've built, it's been around software. They may not understand hardware, they may not have a team dedicated to hardware, which is where we see the opportunity for really those AI companies that suddenly realize they need their own sensor, their own transducer, device, whatever, to run those algorithms, to capture the data they're ultimately going to analyze. And they say, okay, oh wow, we're like an off-the-shelf hardware team. That again, coming back to the principles of capital efficiency and acceleration is where we come in. And as I say, doing that with a human-centered design approach really gives the best outcomes.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Matthew, for sharing your insights with us, and we hope to see Cortex Designs in the MedTech world space.
Oh, thanks so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.